All right. Welcome back to No BS Just News with Steve. As always, I'm your host. Thanks for tuning in to the best YouTube around. Just kidding. Hey, thanks, y'all. I know I've been absent for a few days here. You know, as always, got a lot going on. Got some homelessness going on with some people within my organization, as we'll call it. I don't know. It's crazy. But I hope I don't have this virus because I can't taste. My smell's off. A little bit of a sore throat. Just crappy feeling. Anyway, I'm going to get that vaccine next week. Feel like my dizziness is coming back from the old stress regime. Anyway, y'all, moving on. As you know, probably by now, the American Rescue Plan has been approved. Biden signed it yesterday afternoon. He was going to sign it today. However, he did move forward and sign that yesterday afternoon. So that will make the $1,400 stimulus checks go out. The IRS has stated that some may hit bank accounts by this weekend. Their Get My Payment system is down, so if you go to irs.gov, it says check back soon for the 2021 economic impact payment. I still haven't heard if they're going to allow you to go in and update your bank account information. My guess is probably not, especially if they're going to start sending those checks out maybe tonight at midnight. I don't know if you were to update your bank account information, if that would even, how quick that would take effect with as fast as they want to get these checks out. So I'm hoping that if they recognized last stimulus check that it went to a closed account and they ended up sending you a paper check, they do that again. However, that is not a fact or a certain thing that will happen. You could end up getting a direct deposit into an account that's closed if that is your circumstance. If you've already filed your 2020 tax return and you put your updated bank information, then it should go into that account. Now, if you are not getting a return, you can still add your bank account information with a lot of these all of these tax preparers, prepare companies, TaxHawk, TurboTax, Tax Act. There's a ton of them out there. So if you haven't filed your 2020 tax return, it will go off your 19 return. It's probably too late now to jam in there and file your 2020 tax return if your income was significantly less in 2020 and it's higher in 2019 and you don't think you're going to qualify, since the bill has already been approved and they're going to start sending stimulus checks out. It would take too long for the IRS to really review your return based off 2020. Is what I read off CNBC yesterday. So good news though. It looks like the unemployment in Arizona is going to go up from $240 a week to $320 a week. They're going to vote on that, but it looks like that is likely to happen. So you would be getting $620 a week with the ongoing rescue plan that has extended the unemployment. It was supposed to be from $300 to $400, but it's going to remain at $300. There's a lot of state and local aid money coming. Some of these moratoriums are expiring, but I know that it's written in the bill that some of them will be extended. There's a lot in that bill that doesn't have to do with COVID. However, there's a lot of good things in that bill that has to do with COVID. It doesn't look like the child credit will go in effect until the summertime, which I think I said about June or July. It's $3,000 per child per household now versus $1,000. So get in there and read the bill, and you can see exactly what you have protections under, what you don't, what's included, what's not. Minimum wage obviously didn't make the cut. I think they'll do a standalone bill for that, but we'll have to see. So again, I'd go keep checking IRS.gov today. I'm assuming that they will have information updated either today or at least by, if not the weekend, by Monday, because I know that they're going to start sending out payments probably tonight at midnight or tomorrow. And I think direct deposits will obviously go first, and then checks will follow, and then direct debit cards will follow the checks. They haven't said if it goes to a closed bank account and it's returned to the IRS, if they are going to reissue that payment. It could be another recovery or rebate credit. If you haven't got your first or second stimulus check by now, you will have to claim the recovery or rebate credit. They are not sending out any more payments from the first and second stimulus. So hopefully you have received it, and you're not having to stress out, because if you owe tax, then it just takes off the amount you owe. A lot of people don't usually pay the tax right up front. They set up some type of installment agreement with the IRS. So if you do claim the recovery or rebate credit and you owe a tax liability for that for, let's say, 2020, it'll just take it off the amount you owe, which in the long run is good, but in the short term it's not if you need that money right away and you plan to set up an installment agreement with the IRS. It may wipe out your tax altogether, that liability. Let's say you're filing individually, you owe $1,400. It'll take that $1,400 from your stimulus, let's go and backtrack a little bit. Second stimulus, $600 you owe, they would just take that $600 from your second stimulus as the recovery rebate credit, apply it to the back tax, and you wouldn't owe anything. Same thing with the first. If you owe $1,200, they would just take it out of that $1,200. So if you didn't get the first or second, that's $1,800 for individuals, and you owe $1,800, it would just wipe it out, but you wouldn't owe liability to the IRS, because that gains interest every single day. If you have an address change and you've been getting paper checks via the stimulus, it'll probably stay the same. If you haven't updated your address with the IRS and USPS, it's going to get returned back to the IRS, and then they're not going to reissue, is what they said. It'll give you like an error message in the Get My Payment information. I certainly hope they allow Americans to go in and update bank account information that is incorrect, meaning it's not because of you filed with one of these tax companies and they created a temporary account for you. You went in and the beginning of last year when they allowed you to go in and update your information, and since then that bank account is closed, and the IRS is sending the stimulus to that bank account. There's several videos that I did last time where they ended up sending it to a lot of closed bank accounts, but they rectified it and ended up reissuing payment checks. It took about 3 weeks from the time it went to the closed bank account to the time it got to you. For instance, a lot of them went out, I think, January the 4th to closed bank accounts, and those checks were reissued the end of January with dates of like February 2nd, February 5th, but you either received them on that day or a little bit before. So we'll see, folks. I don't know if they're going to be reissuing payments because of tax season. I don't know. There's a lot of info out there. President Biden addressed the nation last night. Had some good things to say. He wants everybody to get vaccinated because, his first 100 days in office, he wants 100 million people vaccinated. He's close. He's well over 50 million. I think he'll blast that mark. Once more Americans are vaccinated, all these restrictions will be completely lifted, in my opinion. A lot of them have already been lifted. So As you can probably tell, when you go into a lot of places now, a lot of people are no longer wearing masks. They take them off. It's just a habit for me now. I just have my mask on, and I'll probably continue to do so. I don't want to catch that, and I'm not feeling the greatest right now. It's probably just the stress that I've got and adversity that I'm dealing with. But nonetheless, have a great day. It's Friday. Hopefully this day goes by fast. I've got a long weekend ahead. Got a lot going on, folks, just like everybody else does. It is what it is, I guess. It is what it is. Hey, another quick reminder. If you don't have your identity protected, make sure you reach out to these credit bureaus and put a block on your credit. I ended up getting an email from BBVA Bank where I had an account opened in my name. I ended up filing the fraud claim and blah blah blah, but somehow they got my information and were able to open up an account. I don't know how. That's been closed. I already have blocks and all kinds of shit on my credit, but they still got to it. So don't go through that. It's very stressful. Block your identity. I know it's a pain when you go to buy a car, you want to open a credit card or whatever you want to do that has to do with your credit, buy a home. You gotta, before they approve it, you usually have to call in and answer some security questions for them to approve the loan, approve the credit card, approve the mortgage. It just really depends on what you're doing. I know that when I bought my last vehicle, before they would authorize to run the credit and approve it, I had to call the bank and answer some security questions. I'd rather do that than go through months of agony with tons of accounts open in my name that's not mine, that I'm having a dispute and blah blah blah. Also, unemployment fraud is freaking rapid. It's rampant. I mean, it's out of control. I worked in a freaking prison, as you guys know. These offenders that have done this fraud and rented apartments and just put people to work in there all day, where they were scamming, they were pulling people's debit card numbers and credit card numbers and then using them as much as they could, and then they would go to the next. They're very good at what they do. Very bright. Remember, they're human beings. They just made some wrong choices in life. But they can get your information quickly. It doesn't matter if you're using PayPal. It don't matter. Block your identity, folks. Anyway, I will catch y'all in the next one. Hopefully you receive your stimulus payment soon. Peace.